2022 was actually a good year for the price of gold and silver. Gold was about even for the year. Silver was up a little bit. Can you say that about other investment classes? What about Bitcoin? Do you own some Bitcoin? How did it do? What about the general stock market? What about Amazon stock? We're going to cover all of that in this video. We're also going to talk about some interesting stories we had during the week, which are going to help paint the picture of what we can look forward to in 2023. One story in particular I find particularly fascinating. I think you will too. The price of gold had a good week, starting at $1,806, ending the year at $1,830 per ounce. $1,830 per ounce. Had you told us that 5 years ago, had you told us that 10 years ago, we'd be happy. If you told us that, right? Do we remember? Do you remember? Just 2 months ago in September, we had gold at $1,620, $1,630 per ounce. So a pretty good week for the price of gold. But if you own gold mining stocks like I do, it was not a good week. The GDXJ, the ETF that tracks the junior gold mining stocks, was actually down last week. So we have gold going up and the gold miners going down. What's going on? If you've heard people say the miners lead the metal, so that could be a bad sign for the price of gold. That could scare us, right? Wrong. I think two things are in play. Number one, the miners had a terrific run over the last 2 weeks. They're pulling back, consolidating some, plus there's tax loss selling that's occurred in December. People will sell their losers. And, even though the price of gold held in there for the year, the gold mining stocks were still down a bit. So people were harvesting tax loss by selling the stock. So I don't think that the downdraft we had last week in the mining stocks is indicative of a future downdraft in the price of gold and by default silver as well. We love silver, and silver had a great week last week, up almost 2%, starting the week at $23.76 per ounce, ending the week at $24.18 per ounce. Wasn't it just a few months ago we were looking at $17 silver? Hey, silver has done very, very well. The silver mining stocks did not fare too well either, though. The SIL ETF that tracks the silver miners, it was down 2% for the week. Again, I'll attribute that to tax loss selling, just like we did with the gold mining stocks. We'll see how it plays out in 2023. Because it's got to get better for the silver miners. If you own silver mining stocks, which I do own a few, they were down almost 20% in 2022. I sure hope you, yes, you enjoy coming to the basement and connecting with me. You are always welcome here. You are important from wherever in the world you're joining me right now. Welcome. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Leave a comment in the comment section below. And speaking of you, one of my loyal viewers, Chris P., sent me some very information that's going to help with this next segment, which is the recap of the general markets. What did the general markets do? You know, the one that the herd all invest in. The S&P 500, for instance, was down almost 20% last year. The NASDAQ, 30-something% down last year. Let's look at some of the big stocks. Amazon down 50%. Dow Jones down 9%. Tesla stock down 65%. Bitcoin, unicorn fart dust. Well, it was only down 65.24% for the year. Gold and silver killed them all. Gold was even for the year. Silver up almost 2%. Ever notice they never talk about gold or silver on CNBC or CNBS, as we like to call it? They love to talk about unicorn fart dust of every make and order, but they never talk about gold and silver. Maybe they need to recognize that last year gold and silver beat them all. We've got one big story we need to talk about that's not getting a lot of headline coverage, and we're going to get to that. But first, let's just talk about the general economy. Things are still looking dicey out there. We know that November pending home sales were like 40% lower than they were a year ago. Real estate, not good. The car market, right? There's not a lot of headline news about the car market, but if you dig in a little bit, the car market is collapsing right in front of our eyes. The next to come will be employment. Unemployment will go up next year. I think it was Bank of America. They predicted like 250,000 job losses per month for each month during the first quarter. We'll see how that plays out. But nonetheless, the general economy looks crappy. On the central bank front, we didn't get a lot of news last week. So let's just dive right into what I believe, and I'll be curious what you think about this, was the biggest story of the week. President Xi of China had a teleconference with Vladimir Putin from Russia. They had another love fest over the telephone lines, and during that conversation, President Xi expressed his desire to come visit Russia. China and Russia are going to have an official state visit where President Xi flies to Russia this spring. They are working together. It's this big picture geopolitical situation that's unfolding in the world as the East continues to align themselves with one another. China's massive, guys, right? Russia's no slump chump either. We have the Indians, the Eastern countries are pulling together. And what's so interesting about this from a precious metals perspective is that those countries, I know we talked about this 10,000 times, but those countries, they totally respect, I think is a good word, gold and silver, and are incorporating it into their systems as they align themselves. The world is going from unipolar, one polar, one power, to multipolar, multiple powers, and that is creating this situation where these Eastern countries are going to be providing support for the price of gold and silver. To me, I don't know how you feel about it, but to me, that was the biggest story of the week, right? More proof that the world is changing right below our very feet. Hey, it's been a great 2022. I appreciate the time that you've spent with me here in the basement. I've enjoyed getting to know you, and I'm going to look forward to seeing you, yes, you, more in 2023. Be well.